And I'm going to give credit because none of this is our invention. All of this was known years before by a lot of people you probably heard of. And it's all online. We only need to listen to the other Bedouins in the desert that have a wise piece of information for us. So, number one, fall in love with the problem, not your solution. This sentence belongs to Uri Levine, one of the co-founders of Waze. Your solution may suck, but your problem has to be really clear. You need to fall in love with the problem. So you will allow for the solution to change. You cannot push your solution to the market. Focus on the problem. Fall in love with the problem you're here to solve. When you do, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I believe in, don't start a startup. Start building the business you want to work for. So when the exit will come, what you're literally going to say is not, yay, I just got a little bit rich. What you're going to say is what Uri Levine said. He's quoted for saying, after the exit to Google, they took my baby away from me. Well, you got freaking rich. That's what he said. Be in that mindset. And then you're able to grow patience, persistence, but also be agile. Which is exactly what, thought leaders like Gary Vaynerchuk, that's what they talk about. Because that's what helped them. You need, this to be right. KYC, know your customer. If you fall in love with the problem, you need to live the problem. Be your customer just like Moses was a Bedouin for a few years. To know the desert on your skin. No market research will help you do that unless you undergo this yourself. So know your customer. Be humble, respect the market, and adapt. You, the Bedouin, will not change the desert. The desert will change you. And your job is not to become one with the desert. Your job is to cross it to get to your promised land. Fundraising is not success. That's another thing a lot of people talk about. There's another thought leader called Guy Kawasaki. So he's quoted for saying, sales fixes everything. And people tend to forget that in the world of startup. When you declare victory, when you fundraise, another round of whatever. Which is basically, you give a piece of the company for money. But you didn't produce a new added value. You switched a part of the cake for another part of another cake. Conservation of matter. But sales fixes everything. So, theoretically, $500,000 from an investor or $50,000 down payment from a first customer for a 3-month pilot, take the $50,000. That pilot will get you the $500,000 too. But the $500,000 may not be able to produce the first pilot. Sales fixes everything. We're not building startups, we're building a business. You need to ask who will be willing to pay and for what. And then sometimes you realize you differentiate between customers and consumers. You can all use Silo for free. We're not trying to get you, hooked up on our drug and then get you to pay to promote your post. We're not there. You're the consumers, you're the users, you're not the customers. By the way, if this sounds familiar, there are a lot of social networks where you can get everything for free. The customers are advertisers. Not a new thing. So understand who are your customers and who are your consumers. Sometimes they're the same, but not always. And make sure you diminish the pain for both. Make sure you deliver the added value and the value proposition for both separately. Because they need to use it and they need to pay for it. And they're not buying what they are using. They're buying something else. So that. Next up, most things are not in your control. Don't waste time worrying about them. If you're in the advertising business, You don't know what Google and Facebook are going to do in 6 months to the algorithm. You don't. So you can plan 15 different strategies and keep them in your folder, but it's a waste of time. You need to worry about what is in your control. Like that first pilot. That's what matters. You're not a startup or a company, you're a project. Startups are super hard, and they will not always be cool. They're cool these days because of the information revolution, but they will not be cool forever. And it's hard. Most chances, almost all of them are against you. It's like going to the casino, putting some coins, and expecting a 777. If you're going to count on luck, not a good strategy. You have to be willing to eat shit, because once you realize you're here to build a business and not a startup, you're here for the marathon. And focus on your why, not the what and the how. We spoke about this yesterday. Simon Sinek, start with why. I didn't know Simon Sinek when I underwent this on my skin. And I had to separate the why from the what and the how and focus on my why. It was a painful process for me. It doesn't have to be the same for you. The why is where your problem is, which you need to fall in love